Ron Strickland. This webcast is one of a series in which I'm presenting some brief lectures and commentaries on topics from the courses I teach in literature and cultural studies. This particular installment is on John Milton's epic poem, Paradise Lost, and I'll be discussing Book 5 of the poem. In Book 4, we have witnessed Eve describing for Adam her memory of her first moments of consciousness. And of course, we, as the reader, are overhearing this. Satan has crept into the garden, and he also is observing Adam and Eve. He apparently doesn't hear what they're saying, and he is struck by the beauty of the pair, and even has a moment of self-doubt, a moment of second thoughts about his mission to corrupt them. In the latter part of Book 4, Satan is discovered by the angels Ithuriel and Zephon, squatting in the form of a toad, whispering into the ear of the sleeping Eve. Zephon and Ithuriel bring him to the archangel Gabriel. There's a confrontation, and Satan leaves the garden. Book 5 opens on the next morning. Adam awakens and observes that Eve looks disturbed and disheveled in her sleep. When she wakes up, she tells Adam that she has had a bad dream, and she describes it for Adam. I'll read a few lines. Adam wakes first. He's surprised to see Eve still asleep, but looking disturbed in her sleep. He wakes her up, and here's what she says. O soul in whom my thoughts find all repose, my glory, my perfection, glad I see thy face and morn returned. For I this night, such night till this I never passed, have dreamt, if dreamed, not as I oft am wont, works of day past, or morrow's next design, but of offense and trouble, which my mind never knew till this irksome night. Methought, close at mine ear, one called me forth to walk with gentle voice. I thought it thine. It said, Why sleepest thou, Eve? Now is the pleasant time, the cool, the silent, save where silence yields to the night-warbling bird that now awake tunes sweetest his love-labored song. Now reigns full-orbed the moon, and with more pleasing light shadowy sets off the face of things. In vain, if none regard. Heaven wakes with all his eyes, whom to behold but thee, nature's desire, in whose sight all things joy, with ravishment attracted by thy beauty, still to gaze. I rose as at thy call, but found thee not. To find thee, I directed then my walk, and on, methought, alone I passed through ways that brought me on a sudden to the tree of interdicted knowledge. Fair it seemed, much fairer to my fancy than by day, and as I wondering looked, beside it stood one shaped and winged like one of those from heaven by us oft seen. His dewy locks distilled ambrosia. On that tree he also gazed. This, of course, is Satan, and Satan speaks in her dream. O fair plant, said he, with fruits surcharged, deigns none to ease thy load and taste thy sweet? Nor God nor man is knowledge so despised. Or envy, or what reserve forbids to taste? Forbid who will, none shall from me withhold longer thy offered good. Why else set here? This said, he paused not, but with venturous arm he plucked. He tasted. Me damp horror chilled at such bold words vouched with a deed so bold. But he thus overjoyed, O fruit divine, sweet of thyself, but much more sweet thus cropped, forbidden here, it seems, as only fit for gods, yet able to make gods of men. And why not gods of men, since good, the more communicated, more abundant grows? The author not impaired, but honored more. Here, happy creature, fair angelic Eve, partake thou also. Happy though thou art, happier thou mayst be. Worthier canst not be. Taste this, and be henceforth among the gods, thyself a goddess, not to earth confined, but sometimes in the air, as we sometimes ascend to heaven by merit thine, and see what life the gods live there. And such live thou, So saying, he drew nigh, and to me held even to my mouth of that same fruit held part which he had plucked. The pleasant savory smell so quickened appetite that I, methought, could not but taste. Forthwith up to the clouds with him I flew, and underneath beheld the earth outstretched immense, a prospect wide and various, wondering at my flight and change to this high exaltation. Suddenly my guide was gone, and I, methought, sunk down and fell asleep. But oh, how glad I waked to find this but a dream. Adam responds to her, "Best image of myself and dearer half, the trouble of thy thoughts this night in sleep affects me equally. Nor can I like this uncouth dream. Of evil sprung I fear. Yet evil whence? In thee can harbor none, created pure. But know that in the soul are many lesser faculties that serve reason as chief. Among these, fancy next her office holds. Yet be not sad. Evil into the mind of God or man may come and go, so unapproved, and leave no spot or blame behind, which gives me hope that what in sleep thou didst abhor to dream, waking thou never wilt consent to do." So this scene is rich with psychological and theological questions and issues. If, as Adam says, Eve was created pure, how does evil enter into her mind? How could her imagination dredge up these evil thoughts? Of course, the imagination is inferior to reason, and Eve has been created with a capacity for reason that is inferior to Adam's. In effect, it seems, she has been set up for the fall. There she was, sleeping, minding her own business, when Satan came to implant these thoughts into her mind. And notice how Satan, in the dream, represents Eve, the fairest of creation, one worthy to live among the gods herself. And the forbidden fruit, why forbidden? Is it that the gods are jealous or envious? Why do they not share the fruit? Those of you who know the story of Prometheus from Greek mythology will recognize a parallel here. In the structure of the narrative, this scene is a portent, a foreshadowing of the tragic events that will unfold in Book 9 of Paradise Lost. In the latter part of Book 5, God has sent his angel Raphael to talk to Adam and Eve, to bolster their confidence, to reinforce their ability to withstand the temptation to come. Yet Eve will not hear Raphael's message directly. She finds such intellectual discourse boring. Perhaps it goes over her head. So she prepares a nice meal for Adam and Raphael and goes about her gardening work, happy to hear Adam relate the message later on. With that, I'll conclude this webcast. But as always, if you have questions or comments, send me an email.